Greetings, people of God. Welcome to the Voice of God moment or session. Today I'm going to teach on the subject Parabola, hills and valleys. Extracting my verse from the book of Genesis chapter number 50, verse number 19 and 20. And Joseph said unto them, Fear not, for I am in the place of God. But as for you, you thought evil against me, but God meant it unto good, to bring to pass as it is this day, to save much people alive. May God bless the reading of His word. Amen. Now, the title of this session being Parabola, hills and valleys. I want you to understand, as a child of God, that in the life of a believer, there are no ups and downs. There is no moment in time where you can say you are in a place where there is no God. But everywhere where you are in the presence of God. Be it you are in a place where you are being troubled by pain, stress, or anxiety, diseases. You are in that moment, but there is God in that moment. Now, because there are no ups and downs in the life of a believer, I chose, according to the revelation that God has given me, that in the life of a believer, there are what we call, or I call, hills and valleys. And in the valley, that's where you are taught life. That's where you are taught. In the valley, you are in the valley and you are being taught how to love. You are being taught how to be humble. You are being taught how to honor. And you are in the valley and you are being taught how to handle money. You are being taught how to make money. You are being taught how to be focused, how to see, be it in the realms of the spirit. You are taught how to heal. You are in the valley. You are taught how to give. So there is a life that we see, the life in the valley. And there is a life where you find yourself on top of the hill. But this moment, my brother and my sister, I want you to understand that the life you live in the valley determines the longevity of your life on top of the mountain. What you are being taught while you are in the valley is what will sustain you when you are on top of the mountain. According to where we have read the book of Genesis chapter number 50, verse 19 and 20, the life of Joseph, you know the life of Joseph, that when he was 17, he was sold to the Ishmaelites, and they brought him to the house of Potiphar, where he spent his 10 years being taught. But these moments he was in the valley. My God, my God, my God. As he was in the valley, he was being taught. He was being taught to be humble. He was being taught to be obedient. He was being taught to be focused. He was being taught because he knew his vision. He had dreams before, and his father and his mother interpreted his dreams before of whom he was going to become. So here is being taught in the house of Potiphar. Then he went into prison because of what happened with the mom, or the wife of Potiphar. And in prison he spent 2 years of his life in prison. And then he was taken, my God, to the house of Pharaoh after 30 years. So he became the governor of Egypt after 30 years. But I want you to understand this. After 30 years, Joseph lived up to 110 years, and then he died. So the amount that he spent, the amount of time he spent being in the valley, was multiplied by God more than 5 times the life that he lived on top of the hill, depending on how much suffering he had to go through when he was in the valley. So the larger the suffering, my God, the amount of your suffering normally speaks of how long are you going to stay when you are on top of the mountain. But remember, when Joseph was in the valley, being in the house of Potiphar, being in the valley, right? Or in his house, his father's house, Jacob, there were moments that he would feel the happiness, the love, the joy. But then after that, Jacob, his father, would make a coat of many colors for him to celebrate him. Then after that, he would feel that he's in the valley again, because that coat of many colors brought hatred from his brothers. And in the house of Potiphar, you see that he was exalted, because Potiphar saw that he had a blessing. My God, he was anointed, he had been blessed. So everything in the house of Potiphar became blessed. But as he was in the house of Potiphar, being in a hill, the wife, Potiphar's wife, came and he brought him low again into the valley. So some hills are for testing, and some valleys, my God, you are trained in the valley. You are placed on a small hill to practice, to be tested. If you have enjoyed, if you have learned indeed. And after that, he was exalted in the prison. Being in the prison, Joseph was exalted, indeed was made the master of all the jailers. And now he is in the valley, but he is given again another small hill to practice that which he was learning when he was in the valley. But then came, my God, then came the real or the original, the place of a moment, the original thing that God said, for I have no plans to do you harm, but the plans I have for you are to prosper you. That moment came for Joseph. Then he was taken to the house of Pharaoh and he became the governor of Egypt. Then he began to do what he was taught when he was in the valley. My brother, my sister, I want you to know this. You may be facing a hard time right now in your life, but I want you to understand that in your life there are hills and valleys. You are being taught when you are in the valley what will sustain you, what will make you to be sustained when you are on top of the valley is what you are being taught while you are in the valley. What is going to sustain you on top of the mountain is the real things, the small things that you are being taught while you are still in the valley. So you might be in the valley right now, but pay attention to every detail. Pay attention to every test that is coming your way. Pay attention to everything that you are being taught while you are in the valley. You don't have much right now. You are struggling right now. Sometimes you get sick, but you pray for yourself, you get healed. But you have tried so many businesses. They flourish, then they die. You are in the valley, and those businesses that you tried, there were small mountains to practice what you were being taught in the valley. But there is coming a time and a moment where you shall find yourself on top of the mountain, where you belong. Because as a child of God, you belong on top of the mountain, but God does not place you there before He teaches you how to live, so that on top of the mountain you may be there for a longer period. So the amount of testing, the amount of lessons that you are going through, that you are having while you are in the valley, speaks of the longevity of the time, of your time on top of the mountain. So, do not cry when you find yourself struggling, but look around and ask yourself, what is it that I am being taught in this moment, in this level? What is it? What am I learning, my God? And once you discover that you can identify a lesson, you capture it and you keep it, because you will need it when you become a CEO. You may be right there where you are right now, but I believe I'm talking to a president right now. I'm talking to a CEO of a big company. I'm talking to big people of God, a daughter and a son of Jehovah. I'm talking to some people who are going to be great in the next 10 years, 5 years, 2 years to come. But you got to understand that what will sustain you when you are at the top is what you are being taught right now in the valley. Hills and Valleys, Parabola session with your host, Odus. May God bless you.